Good day, everyone. My name is Cathy Lagapa from BSHM2A, and for today's video, I will be reporting the Chapter 8, which is Organizational for Production. Manufacturing, production, or manufacturing as it's more commonly called, is concerned with making of things. The creation of from utility. Etymologically, the word manufacturing means making by hand. However, very few articles are now made solely by hands. Even the simplest type of manufacturing necessitates or same tools. There are hand tools and machine tools. In addition to tools, various types of equipment are often necessary depending on the nature of manufacturing process. So the basic function of manufacturing is to change raw materials or secondary materials into a more useful form or state. It may include a changing of the nature of the materials or a changing or its form or both. So together with selling, manufacturing constitute one of the two basic function in business. Finances, of course, essential to both manufacturing and selling. So let's proceed to the types of production process. So the method by which the materials of industry are produced or manufactured into the things that industry or consumers want are known as production process. So according to one classification, production process are extractive, analytic, synthetic, and fabricating. So first is extractive process. So when we say extractive process, in some industry, the basic production process is one of extracting substances from the earth or the sea, known as the extractive process. So example of this process are the mining of coal, iron or lead, gold and silver, drilling for petroleum, and the extraction of magnesium and other chemicals from the ocean. So let's proceed to number two, analytic process. So the analytic process is one in which basic substance is broken down into a number of other materials, which may not bear any resemblance to the parent substance. Third is synthetic process. So synthetic process refers to those industries in which a number of different materials are combined to from a single product. So in the manufacture of steel, glass, rayon, and dinnerware, the final products are quite different from the original ingredients because of physical or chemical changes. So, in other industries, such as in the production of automobiles, electrical appliances, radios, and television sets, where the materials are merely assembled without undergoing physical or chemical change. So, this process is sometimes called the assembly process. So, fabricating process. So, the term fabricating process is only used principally in the structural steel business, refers to the process that is rather whispered in the industry, wherein a material has its form changed to some extent by being machined, woven, cut up, pressed, finished, or treated in some other matter. So it's sometimes called the converting process, particularly in textile field. So example of fabricating process are to be found in manufactured of clothing, shoes, certain types of furniture, nut, and bolts. So continuous and intermittent process. So a second classification of production process includes, so first is continuous process. So unfortunately, the term continuous process has a dual meaning that is frequently confusing. It is sometimes used to describe a manufacturing situation in which the productive facilities must be kept continuously in operation for relatively long periods of time, necessitating day and night shift and Sunday work. So second is intermittent process. So here again, as with us counterpart, there are in double meaning to intermittent process. In first sense, The term refers of any manufacturing process that can be stopped at will, for example, at the end of the day, and can be started up again the next morning with no difficulty. So, under this concept of the term, almost any industry that operates purely one ship a day basis would qualify. So, increasing production, poor processes in production have been used to good advantage in marketing, transportation, office management, and other business function. So, it is in manufacturing, however, where they find greatest application and are mainly responsible for the progress and industrialization in advanced countries. So these processes are specialization, standardization, simplification, and mechanization. So simplification refers to the narrowing of a field activity. A company may specialize in products instead of putting out a variety of radio electronic products. A company specializes in a few kinds of data radios, which is include then developed to a high degree of quality and perfection. So specialization may be applied to processes, equipment, or labor skills. Second is simplification, refers to the reduction in the number of types, sizes, forms, designs, colors, and other characteristics of a product. So third is standardization, refers to the setting up to standard or norms as to size, quality, form, measure, width, or other similar feature. So lastly is mechanization, refers to the development of machines to perform much of the manufacturing process as possible. So let's proceed to the a new method of production scheduling is called PERT. So when we say PERT, introduced in 1968, is like some other managerial techniques, a planning controlling technique. The basic analytical device of PERT is a network consisting of a factorial description of the necessary work. This network is made up of the activities and events that comprises a project. An activity is shown by an arrow, an event by a circle. The former represent the work required to accomplish an event. So a network path is series of related events and activities from the beginning to the end of the network. So we are interested in the network path that requires the longest time because this time controls the project. This is any delay along the network path will delay completion and of the entire project. So let's proceed to the first is advantages from non-repetitive, non-routine project. It is being used in research and development project and conducting of a new product developments, the preparation of building big and proposal, periodic maintenance shutdowns, pilot runs, and the construction of buildings, bridges, and power situation first help. So first is focus and attention on potential problems in a project. Second is reasonably predict the attainment of the project objective. So C is evaluate progress toward this attainment. And lastly is indicate feasible adjustment in the related activities to the improvement overall project accomplishment. So let's proceed to the factors involved in manufacturing. So the manufacture of any article involved in the following factors. First is design, second is material, and lastly is de- design. I mean processing. So first is design. So the design may be standard, static, and unchanging as in some articles and staple merchandise. It may be variable and subject to change overnight. As in the case of some lines of the style merchandise or the change may be imperfectly effective or over fairly longer period of time. Requirement of the design is the design of article must fit four requirements, namely: first is consumer acceptance, second is utility, third is economic processing, and fourth is proper kind of materials to be used. So first is consumer acceptance. So the design of the article must have what is called consumer acceptance. The article must appeal to the customer taste desire. So a shoe manufacturer, for instance, who manufactures a high cut style of shoes for men would find very little sales for his business. So second is utility. The second requirement of design is that the product shall adequately serve the purpose for which is intended. So the product must be useful. A beautiful design and attractive chair may not be strong enough to serve as a chair for day-to-day use. Third is economic processing. So, as a third requirement, the design of an article should be not cost for the useful and economical processes. So, if the design slow down the processes manufacturing, high cost of production will resort. And lastly is kind of materials to be used. So, the fourth requirement of the design is that must suit in a material which is the article is to be made. The material must be to be worked to produce the design wanted. Some materials are more workable than others. Some process can be used with some materials and not to others. So as an example, we have the case of copper, which is more ductile than any other common metals. Thus, it commands universal use in electrical wiring. So let's proceed to the choices of materials. As the second factor in manufacturing, the choice of materials among other things depends on: first is utility or purpose, second is durability, and third is cost of the development and manufacture of the product. So utility is articles may have either utility purpose or decorative one, sometimes both, and ornament has a little utility of its merely for decorating something like a house, just as decorative articles carry temporary consideration. So the main consideration is such as cases are cheapness of materials and infancy infancy and methods of manufacturing. Durability. Articles with a utility purpose are made with some consideration for durability. And third is cost of the development manufacturing. Is before undertaking to development a particular product, the management must be able to envisage and return on the product that is commensurate with the cost of the development. So it goes without saying that the requires not only forecast for the market, the product, but also knowledge of that time, effort, and equipment required its development. So also it's important to estimated cost of manufacturing the product, which must be done economically, otherwise the product will be little use. So let's proceed to the kinds of product. So on the other hand, there are consumers who believe that anything worth doing is a work doing well. They want to demand durable goods, which as a buyer purchases nails, for example, the buys a house paint. He wants paint the stick and does not easily fade. So processing. In manufacturing, the third and last factor involved in processing, which requires machine and labor. So trend to automaticity. The tendency in machine design is to make machine more automatic in the operation so that less labor is required. Third is advantages of the automaticity. It is obvious that the more automatically is an operation, the less of labor is required, and consequently, the less costly they will be. So, layout influences production. Other determining factor in the production is layout refers to the arrangement of machine and equipment in any kind of working according to the sequence of operation. Then efficiency of labor. So the efficiency of labor like has a mark, affection price and market. When Mr. Henry Ford in 1914 set a $5 in a day minimum of wage of workers, he took a step that assured him the pickup of mechanical skill in the country. So next is necessity for continued operation with the effective machine and equipment with efficient employees and workers. The manufacturer should be realized that this remaining successful in business depends upon his ability to continue to produce what is needed in the market at the price the customer are willing to pay. So next is control of production. In the broadest sense, control of production signifies the management of manufacturing. So primarily, it's concerned with the aspect of time, place, and quantity. So next is steps in production control. So production control consists of a well-defined set of producers that has an objective of coordination of all the elements of production in smoothly flowing whole resulting in the fabrication of products with the minimum interruption, the earliest possible time and lowest possible cost. So production control is performed to assess in utilizing designated materials, machine and men for the proper amount of time at the right time. So scheduling is the assigning of clock or calendar in times of for carrying out the various operations. So ato namang mahibaw aning scheduling no nga as ag-assign jud ani is kanang clock or calendar. Kay need jud nato ang schedule sa atong unsa nato pag-manage sa atong business. To dispatching the last part of production to control emphasizes correcting the deviation in any. It includes giving work authorization to proceed with specific batches of work, specific times, securing reports on our progress, and granting of authority to move materials from one area of the factory to another. Next is inventory control, closely allied to production control and often part of its to control to inventories. So quality control. So the manufacturing end of business is not only responsible for productioning quickly of a reasonably low cost, but is likewise reasonable for the quality of the product. So maintenance. So let's proceed to the maintenance. So practically very enterprise of any size hotels, school, factory or utility has its maintenance department. So the smooth functioning of the entire operating department is virtually dependent upon the effective operation of the men behind the scenes. So the maintenance workers breakdown of the elevator lighting system usually causes cessation of operation or at least is a great inconvenience. Preventive maintenance is more effective than remedial maintenance. So adequate maintenance and inspection aid is controlling in the production machine. So machine maintenance consists in periodic checkups, adjusting alignments, sharpening production tools, lubricating moving machine parts, and examining machine to detect any issue in its use. So, inspection of work done with a particular machine is a common machine or control technique. It is effective and perhaps the cardinal test because that's what's being accomplished by use of the machine is the important consideration and answer whether performance is taking place according to plan. So, any necessary corrective measures can thus be ascertained by the proper action taken. So that's all my report, ma'am. Thank you for listening my report. This is Cathy May Pasos Lagapa from BSHM2. Thank you and God bless.